Hey everyone, it's Adam from diettribe.org, and I just got back from a chilly afternoon bike ride here in San Francisco and wanted to share some tips from Bright Spots and Landmines on exercise. And the exercise chapter of the book touches on a few different themes. So one theme is just what exercise should I do? Another is how do I manage blood sugar during exercise? And then the third is how do I fit exercise into a super busy day? And I think one of the important themes that I try to remember is consistency is super key with exercise. So reducing the barriers to doing it, making it so simple and easy and just something that's integrated into your day is really important. And I think that often outweighs getting a 1 hour exercise session in that's where you're dripping in sweat but you're sore for 4 days. So to touch on some of these things more specifically, the column that we just published in Diet Tribe is an excerpt from the exercise chapter, and it talks about walking. And walking is the first bright spot in the chapter because I think it's so important for managing blood sugar, keeping blood sugar in range, and I often just walk after meals as a way to prevent the high blood sugar, or if I am high, bring myself down really quickly. And the cool thing about walking, I find it drops blood sugar by about 1 mg per dl per minute. So 30-minute walk often drops me about 30 milligrams per deciliter. And if I'm going uphill or if I have insulin in my system, I sometimes see twice that or even 3 times that. So I might drop 60 points or 90 points on a 30-minute walk. So I often just use walking as a diabetes blood sugar tool. No different from dosing insulin or taking some carbs if I'm low. And what I like about walking is the barriers to doing it are super low. I can walk out my front door and go walk. And often I'll wear a weighted vest in the mornings to make walking a little more exercise, get the heart rate up a little more, but it's just something that's still built into my day, so I don't have to create time for it. Another theme that emerges in the chapter is just this idea of enjoying exercise, actually finding exercise that you like. And I think often people dread exercise because they're just doing things that they hate. So some people really like running on treadmills, but often that's soul-crushing for other people. And I think what's amazing about the time we live in is there's so many options for exercise. There's individual, there's group classes, there's indoors and outdoors, and apps and everything in between. And I think it's sometimes hard to break out of the routine and try something new, but figuring out what kind of exercise you really like. So whether it's being individual and being alone with your thoughts, being in a group so you have that accountability, going to a class so you have variety and maybe a little competition. There's a whole spectrum of things, and I think experimenting with different kinds of exercise and new kinds of exercise is really helpful for just figuring out how can exercise be a highlight of my day, something I'm really looking forward to rather than just another thing on the to-do list. And then in terms of fitting exercise into a busy day, this is really tough, and I think exercise is one of the easiest things to cut out when life is super busy, lots of work priorities or family priorities or things come up. And so there's a couple things that I always try to remember. One is that 5 minutes of exercise beats 0. So if I'm saying to myself, I don't have an hour, I can't possibly exercise today, even if I do 5 minutes, that's better than doing no exercise at all. And so I always try to remind myself of that when life gets busy, when things are stressful. I can always find time for 5 minutes, even if that's a 5-minute walk outside, and I do it while I'm on a phone call at work. Another thing that I try to focus on is just using exercise as a way to improve my productivity, or to, if I'm feeling tired, going out and going for a walk to reduce my stress. And so deploying exercise more as something that will make me more productive at my job rather than just something I have to fit into my day and I have to push my work aside to get exercise in. But rather, exercise can actually help me be better at my job, and it can even make me a better person. So if I'm in a grumpy mood, going for a walk and coming back often just makes a world of difference. And so attaching exercise to something that will improve the way I act towards other people is another motivational trick I use to get exercise in every day. And then one of the last things I try to do to reduce the barriers of exercise is actually exercising at home. So I just have, in the book, I have some pictures of my setup, but I just have some kettlebells and a yoga mat and a pull-up bar, and I just work out at home, and I'll set timers and use apps, and it only is 10 or 20 minutes, but I don't have to leave my house. It's really low barriers to doing it every day, and I don't have to walk to the gym, pay an expensive gym membership, and so for me, I don't get as much variety when I work out at home, but the upside is it's right there in my house. The barriers are super low. I can't really make excuses for not exercising. And while I do it, I listen to podcasts, I watch lectures on YouTube of things that I'm interested in. So I try to combine it with other things so that it has that added bonus of being entertaining or learning. So those are just a few of the tips in the exercise chapter of Bright Spots and Landmines. Get the book at diatribe.org/brightspots. You can get it for free. The chapter also talks a lot about how to manage blood sugar during exercise. So lows are really common during exercise. Highs are really common after exercise and during exercise. So managing those is a big part of the chapter too. And we hope that, if you have read the book and you liked it, please leave an Amazon review. It only takes a few minutes. It'll help a lot. And if you have other ideas of things you want to see in these, things that you find difficult in the book, things that you really liked in the book, please let us know. We want to make it as useful as possible and help your diabetes, and also get feedback on what you like and don't like. So thank you. That's us signing off from San Francisco.